Let's imagine you're going on a family vacation with your adult siblings. As we read the following statements, let's determine which of the scenarios sound most like you. You've been planning this trip for weeks. You've secured the hotel rooms, made restaurant reservations, had the car's oil changed, and have a tank full of gas. And you've even mapped out the entire trip, including rest stops along the way. You've been rushing around all morning trying to get things together. At the last minute, you eventually throw some snacks and clothes haphazardly into a bag. You haven't had time to check with your siblings to see if you need to drive, so you hope you can find a gas station and fill up your half-empty tank on the way just in case. A family trip? Wow, that sounds like fun. You love to go on road trips and have no pre-planned contributions except your funny stories and jokes. There is no need for snacks because your older siblings always have them packed in the car. There's no need to stress. Anything you have forgotten can be picked up at a Walmart on the way to your destination, or you could borrow from your older siblings. If you chose the first one, you're likely the oldest child. If the second scenario best describes you, you are probably the middle child. If you relate the most to the third scenario, then you're most likely the baby of the family. The first child is the one parents remember well. The firstborn child was watched to make sure he or she was breathing in the crib. The parents sterilized everything the child might touch. If you think about it, the firstborn is the only child that'll have his or her parents completely to themselves, at least until the second child comes. Firstborn children are definitely the apple of their parents' eyes. If you're a firstborn, you're probably a high achiever who seeks approval, dominates most situations, and is that perfectionist who uses most of the oxygen in the room. You can be found in the leadership careers such as law, medicine, or as a CEO. As a caregiver, you try your best to dominate your siblings. The middle child is often dominated by the firstborn child because he or she is older, wiser, and more confident. By the time the second child arrives, the parents are already worn down and worn out, so they don't even see the need to micromanage as they did with the first child. The parents have figured out that the second child is not going to break, and therefore they are more flexible in both attention and discipline. As a result, the middle child learns early on to be understanding but will always seek for attention. If you're the middle child in your family, you're probably understanding, cooperative, flexible, but competitive. You're always concerned with fairness. Remember, the middle child receives the least amount of attention from the family, and as a result, he or she chooses a small group of friends to serve as a fill-in for the attention he or she missed as a child. If you are a middle child, you're in very good company with other middle children. Abraham Lincoln, John F. Kennedy, Winston Churchill, Bill Gates, Donald Trump, and Steve Forbes. Middle children are often late bloomers, but they find themselves in powerful careers that allow them to use their negotiating skills, which mean they get the attention they need. The youngest child has an advantage over the older siblings. Your parents are already confident in their roles as caregiver, which means they're more lenient and don't necessarily pay attention to your every move and milestone as they did with your other siblings. Thus, the youngest child learns to seduce the crowd with charm and likability. The youngest child is more independent because he or she has been afforded more freedoms than the other siblings. The oldest sibling and the youngest sibling have a special bond because they have both been made to feel special and entitled. If you're the youngest child in your family, you know the family supports you. Thus, you experience a sense of place and security. For that reason, the youngest children often find careers in the entertainment business, actors, comedians, writers, etc. But they also make great doctors and teachers. The downside is because your parents have been more lenient, you expect that freedom to follow you all through life and you get frustrated when it doesn't. If you're an only child, you are more verbal and often more mature because you have grown up around adults your entire life. Only children are actually more intelligent than children who fall in a certain birth order. Because you have spent so much time alone, you're very resourceful, creative, confident, and independent. When compared, you closely mirror the characteristics of the firstborn child, which means you have a lot in common with the youngest child as well.